How did you get your wife? How did you convince Museveni? That's the question. Leaders create minimum conditions. We can speak of change, but we don't like change. We do all these things because we don't have the luxury of time. Ability to see comes from someone removing darkness. People who take risks often get high returns. Whatever you choose to do, enjoy it. One of the ways to try and understand your competitive advantage is to build a culture that is different from the one you find that is toxic. So if your father was a drunkard, did you have to drink? If you are raised by a single mother, do you fail to raise a family? If the culture is saying success does not need to have rigor, I don't need to work hard in order for me to be successful. If the culture is saying consume, don't worry about what you produce. If the current culture says to insult on social media is how you gain likes, well, you have to move counterculture and create your own. Because I've never seen anyone who succeeds and does not disrupt the current culture or improve the best values they found in a home or in an office. Do we know the meaning of the word culture? They are the norms, the behaviors, the things we do until the cows come home and we don't know who told us to do those things. But we do them because everybody does them. So there is a rush now to get procurement degrees and diplomas. And I ask, so no pun intended here, I'm not trying, procurement degree and logistics is very good. But I ask young people doing procurement degrees, what are you exactly aiming at? Oh, that's where the money is. Oh, where is the money exactly? Oh, in the government. Oh yes, government procurement has money. You know what that means? That you are studying simply to become Bagonza, because Bagonza is head of procurement and he has built 5 houses, but those houses are not explainable, how he built them. So the question for me is culture. I keep telling people when I was growing up, you're following animals. I'm son of a peasant. By God's grace, just my parents learned reading and writing in the church to stop okutera kino bakiyita ki ekigalo ekinkumu lunyakitala ndowooza luganda kyekigalo kigalo ekinene eki bakiyita kinkumu. Oh, that's good. So they learned reading and writing because they had an opportunity to see that kati bano abalokole balima mmere, that these Christians, they grow food, they don't go hungry. These Christians boil water, they don't let their children drink water from a well that is sick, makes you sick. These balokole, they dig peat latrines. These balokole, they have katandarot. Basics. These balokole have a granary. They adopted that, and in the process, that's how I went to school. Now, how can I now destroy that which I found? So there are some good values that you keep. Hard work, persistence, parsimony, or spend less and fight to really utilize every coin that comes to you. It doesn't mean that you get it right. Sometimes you fall, but in falling you learn. So when I was growing up following animals, they would say, children sleep. 7-year-old, you're following cows or goats, you would sleep at 1 o'clock. They say when you wake up from your slumber and you don't see the cows, you spit in your left hand, you use this finger, You hit the saliva twice. Wherever it goes, that's where the animals have gone. I did that, I can't tell you, for so long. And at some stage I said, but who told you to do that? Huh? Because it's embedded in your culture. That's superstition. Many other things we do and we think they're okay, but I'm asking you to become competitive, have a competitive advantage, be counterculture. Strengthen where you're good, destroy the bad things. The fourth one is what I call a lifetime of study, continuous studying, reading, knowing how other people lived before you came on earth, reading biographies of leaders, parents. When you study, especially history, study voraciously. Read, so me, I read cooking magazines. I'm not a cook, but I want to know how they mix recipes and how those recipes affect biology. So you end up finding something in a cookbook, which as a man, what are you trying to do? In my culture, we don't study cookbooks. We study Frantz Fanon and all those things, but no. So read voraciously, because in studying, you remain humble. You see that you are not the first one, and you won't be the last. You apply yourself where you are. You remain measured in your actions when you study. You also keep growing. You keep growing. You keep adapting to change. So you can imagine 1700 steam engine, today AI. The world is moving on. If you get locked into Tata Wangeyeka yali alina Bedford mu 1972, huh? Do you understand, some Luganda? That on this village my father had a Bedford. You, what are you saying now? Huh? Well, it's 1972. Bedfords are no longer produced. Even Tata trucks are no longer. But you find someone stuck in the past because they fail to adapt. Sometimes they get depressed and they die an early death. Reading is extremely helpful for your brain cells. How did you get your wife? How did you convince Museveni? That's the question. But this is good, because young people want to come out of the feeling that there are some special people, special relationships. And those of you who have known me, specialness comes from God. It doesn't come from biology. So this beautiful young lady was introduced to me by a mutual friend. 4 p.m. at a small hotel in Mienga, this mutual friend brings these two sisters, and she doesn't tell me who exactly, but I had inkling. So we had a discussion, and guess what the discussion was about? Why did Walter Rodney in 1967 think that Africa was colonized and raped without restoration? So have you read Frantz Fanon? It was really like an intellectual discussion. So in my life, I always wanted people I can meet at an intellectual level before an emotional level. At that time, I didn't even know that there is a deeper one called spiritual level. That first meeting was not Mwanawani, it was not Avawa, it was you met at a particular level of understanding. And therefore, as a partner, this person can spar with you intellectually. She doesn't have to pass your eyes through. You don't have to do the same. It means that there's a sense in which you understand each other, because when all the other things are down, that understanding will keep you together. Leaders create minimum conditions. We can speak of change, but we don't like change. We do all these things because we don't have the luxury of time. Ability to see comes from someone removing darkness. People who take risks often get high returns. Whatever you choose to do, enjoy it.